K1BOB, W50G.
W50G, K1BOB. Good morning, Dale. Hey, I got on to net lock.
Kilo Juliet 5, India Alpha India.
And then it cut out. And then just now it showed you offline, but it showed echo link there, and I'm rebooting my phone. I was able to bring it up, but I got shut down. I'm not sure what the issue is. Maybe it's something we're working right now. Good morning, Neil. What can I do for you?
Yeah, good morning, Bob. Hey, I was going to let you know that I normally restart Echolink every morning, and you caught me stopping it, but I didn't get it restarted, and I apologize for that. I've corrected my error, and it should be up and running fine now. Thank you, Bob. K1BOB, W50G.
Okay, consider yourself admonished and correcting your error. We'll make this a mental note of that. K1BOB. Good morning, Dale. I'll keep an eye out for Don this morning when I get back on it. K1BOB. W50G, W5ABI.
Yeah, great, Bob. Thank you. And good morning, Joe. W5ABI. Good signal, Joe.
Good signal too, Dale. W5OG, W5ABI, standing by for net.
Yeah, mighty fine, Joe.
Kilo Juliet 5, India,
and we'll get you on the list.
Mother.
And thank you, Bob. K1BOB, W5OG.
W5OG, KB0LTT Mobile, Nebraska. Check in, Dale.
Good morning, Larry. KB0LTT Mobile. W5OG. I can hear you both locally and good signal on the Utah SDR there, Larry. We'll get you on the list.
QSL.
Good morning, Bob. K2SJP. Good signal. W5OG.
Yeah, this is Joe, Bob. W5ABI. I think you got me confused with Dale. Anyhow, I like 20 over 9. Okay, sounds great, Bob. Thanks for the report. K2SJP, W5ABI, standing by for next.
Just about 20 over here, Joe. K1BOB. Good morning.
Good morning. I got my antenna pointed due east, so we're doing good, Bob.
Roger, roger. K1BOB. Standing by for flyers in 5 minutes.
That's pretty good on the
Oh, that's a change because SDR2 is so close to me. I usually go right over it, but I've got you direct, Bob. That's not direct. Good morning, sir. Well, with you, Bob.
K1BOB, W5OG. Are you running your amp this morning, Bob?
Yeah, it's going 800 to 1,000 out right now, so I don't know what it is. I'm aimed at you, Dale.
Wow. Yeah, you're about an S6. That's not very good. I'm probably about the same. So, and we don't have a good propagation, but at least I'm hearing most folks there. So we'll get the net going here. It'll start in about 4 minutes. Right on this frequency, W5OG.
Yeah, you're an S5 to an S6 now. K1BOB standing by.
You're an S8 in upstate New York, W2 WLD.
Now, Good morning, Bill. W2WLD, W50G. Here you find.
And W2WLD, W5ABI. Good signal, Bill.
Yeah, you too, Joe. You're F7, man.
Stand by, Mike. Yeah, KQ6E, W50G. Copy you find, Mike. You're on the list, and you're about an S7, so good signal. W50G be starting up the net in about 2 minutes.
Kilo Julius 5, India Alpha, monitor.
Well, good morning. This is Whiskey 5 Oscar Golf. All the clocks here say 1500 Zulu, 10 o'clock in the morning here in the central part of the country, and that means it's time to start up the Air Force's Flyers Club net. I will be net control. My name is Dale. I'm located in East Texas. This group meets on this frequency every morning, this time. Members are active duty, retired, and veterans of the military air forces from all branches. And we include air crew, ground crew, air traffic controllers, support personnel, pretty much anyone involved with supporting the aviation mission from all of our armed forces. We also like to welcome visitors. You do not have to be a veteran or to have any aviation experience in order to participate in our net. You're most welcome to check in. The purpose of our group is to promote fellowship between those of us radio amateurs who spend a portion of our lives supporting the missions of our armed forces, especially the aviation mission. This is a control net, contact net control. Please use the words contact, relay, info, or check-in. We have a very nice website. You can find out all about us. It's airforcesflyersclub.org. I'll say that again, airforcesflyersclub.org. I'll take the list for the net this morning directly off of NetLogger. And if you'd like to be on the list, you can check in on the NetLogger server. I guess you download the software yourself, and then of course bring it up, and you'll see our net there under AFFC, and I invite you to join that way if you'd like to participate in the net, or you can just call in. We're going to take over the air check-ins here just shortly. And I think I pretty well covered everything. I'll give you who's on the list, and then we'll take over the air check-ins. So far this morning, I have our mobile KB0LTT, Larry, and he's up in Nebraska, wandering around someplace. And we need to think about our other 18-wheeler. Uncle Cliff is in the hospital this morning. He won't be with us for a couple of days. He's going to be in there overnight, having a operation on his throat. We're all hoping that it does not affect his ability to talk. He may have to polish up his CW skills. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back with us, and we're looking forward to that. And just keep Cliff in your thoughts and prayers today. Also on the list, I've got my NetLogger N5BE. Good morning, Lee, again. Thank you for doing that. We miss you when you're not here. And we got young James, KG5PTE. Good morning, James. And some of his friends from Belton, I think, are lurking or going to be joining us here, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, good morning to all of you folks down there in Belton. And I've got the Ops Officer, Carl, KF7GJO. Good morning, Carl. The Exec, K2SJP, Captain Bill. Good morning to you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Bill's call sign and giving you Bob's. And next on number 6 on the list, following Carl, is, I've kind of messed that up, is Bob, K2SJP. And then Captain Bill. I'll get you in proper order here, Bill. W2WLD. And we've got my younger brother, Brian. I think he's next, yes. WB5DR. Hi, good morning, Brian. Love you and Susie down there in San Antonio. And we got the Commander Bob, K1BOB. We got Ray, WB2JJO. Charlie, K4YDB. And I'm assuming since he's here with us, he's got the live stream up and going. You can find the question of the day there on his YouTube live stream. If you'll go to YouTube, put in K4YDB and search for him and just select the live stream. We got Joe, W5ABI in Las Cruces, and Professor Bob in X6RG and out there in Pleasanton, California, and Mike in Anthem, Arizona. Good morning again, Mike, KQ6E. And I think that KJ5IAI, Michael, you've got him down as receive only. We're going to listen for you. We're going to let because it says now he's receive only. Okay. Disregard. Good morning again, Mike. And I've got also listening N9KJN Norm and John WA6LJS. And I hope you're. I hope it's all good news there for you concerning your selling your home there, John, for sure. All right, that's the list as I have it so far. I did. Let me just go ahead and stand by. We'll take over the air check-ins. Check-ins for the Air Force's Flyers Club net this Thursday morning. Members or visitors, call now.
Kilo Bravo 7, leaving Alpha Camper Romeo. This is Justin in Ogden, and I am Mobile headed to Wyoming for a quick trip.
All right, Justin, I got you. KB7LAK Mobile. We need to get you on the list and put you up the top there since you're mobile. I didn't hear you in there. Who is the 5, I think? The other station calling. Go ahead. Kilo India 5, Whiskey Tango Romeo. Good morning to you. Give us your name and QTH. You're over.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Dominic. PCH is in New Mexico, but I'm currently on vacation in the Rocky Mountains of Arizona. Very near Melbourne. Yes, sir.
Yeah, mighty fine, Dominic. We got you good with a pretty good signal. About an S8 with me here in East Texas. So mighty fine, Dominic. That's KI5 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. We'll add you. Are you going to be able to stick with us for the net this morning, Dominic? Yeah, my pencil doesn't work as well as my computer, and I didn't get a chance to type it in there. It's Whiskey Tango Romeo there, Lee. You might correct that. Anyway, we got you on the list, and you're welcome to this morning there for sure, Dominic. All right, let's see. Bill, W2WLD, put a call out from Scotia, New York, if you would. W50G.
Welcome, Bill. This is Whiskey 2 Whiskey Lima Delta in upstate New York. Relaying for net control for the Air Force's Flyer Club. It's taking check-ins. Members or guests, call now. Nothing heard, Bill.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's see. I guess, how about Bob, NX6RG? Put a call out from the West Coast here, if you would, Bob, W50G.
This is NX6RG, looking for check-ins to the Air Force's Flyers Net. Members or guests, please call now. Nothing heard, Dale.
All righty, that concludes the over-the-air check-ins then. We'll take additional check-ins as we go along here this morning. Quick question of the day. We've talked about this before, and I'm going to get accused of dredging up an old question, but it's fun, and it'll be perhaps a good review for some of it. It has to do with famous radio amateurs, folks who are relatively famous, and we know that we're licensed radio amateurs, fellow amateurs. We all know that General Curtis LeMay, who was instrumental, I think, in the start of our net here, the Air Force's Flyers Club net, one of the charter members. And anyway, he used his amateur radio knowledge, as we all know, to identify the advantage of single sideband radio. And he applied that to strategic air command aircraft in a big way, as we all know. Revolutionized a lot of the of aviation there. And also, Senator Barry Goldwater from that same time frame, who was also an Air Force general officer, were both famous licensed amateur radio operators. So I've got a list here. Which, if any, of the following individuals did not hold a ham license? And A is John Denver, B, Priscilla Presley, C is Walter Cronkite, D, Marlon Brando. Echo is that all of these above individuals were licensed radio amateurs. If you think that all of them were, or if there's one that you think was not, let me know who that was. The bonus question: who was the first woman to become an active amateur radio operator? Now, I bet you probably have to scramble and look this one up. This won't be off the top of your head. And who was the first woman to become an active amateur radio operator that we know of? And the answers are Alpha, Mrs. Otto Redfern. Mrs. Otto Redfern. And our answer, Bravo, Gladys Kathleen Parkin, Parkin. Gladys Kathleen, or Kathleen, I guess it is, Parkin. Gladys Kathleen Parkin. Our Charlie is Medora Olive Newell. Medora Olive Newell, and Delta answer is Mabel Kelso. Mabel Kelso. Who was the first woman to become an active amateur radio operator? And like I say, you'll probably have to look that one up. All right, let's go ahead and get started here this morning. Do I have any questions on the question or any need for repeats? Call now, W50G. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with our mobiles. How about, let's go to Justin first there. I know Larry puts out a good signal. Justin may be in and out. KB7LAK Mobile, good morning, Justin. You're up, W50G.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dale. KB7LAK, I'm in a carrier. I don't know if you can hear me. I think it's doing them or the one that they have. I think it's the only one that wasn't. The rest of them were all hail operators. Hopefully you can hear me. So, yeah, put me down for Alpha. I didn't hear the other question. I should be here to the bottom. I'm driving to Everson to pick up some fireworks. So, KB7LAK, back to net.
Okay, it did get part of that. Did you say your answer is Alpha?
Roger. Yeah, the answer is Alpha. Over.
Yeah, these are not matched pairs. They're not matched up at all there, Justin, and there is two questions. So you have an answer for the second question. Over.
I didn't hear the second question, so yeah, just put me down for the first one, and I'll take a pass for the second. Over.
All right, Larry. Well, drive carefully and have a fun day. Sounds like you're doing that. Okay, let's break with Justin. We'll go to the other mobile, KB0LTT Mobile. Go ahead, Larry. How are you doing this morning? W50G.
Yeah, W50G. Oh, hold on. W50G and the Flyers, KB0LTT Mobile in Nebraska, just going through Columbus, Nebraska. Good morning to each and every one on the net. Hope you're all having a pleasant day thus far. Currently at the airfield here in Columbus, Nebraska, winds 110 at 9, a few clouds at 7,500, broken at 9,000, visibility 10, temperature 63 Fahrenheit, dew point 55, humidity 77%, and the pressure 3009er. And I missed the first question, Dale. The noise took me out, but I caught the second question, and I'm going to go with Parker. B Bravo, going with Parker on the second question. So put me down for half the answer there. Better half than none at all, as they say. Hi. W50G and the group KB0LTT Mobile.
Yeah, some deep QSB there. When you wound up your transmission, Larry, you were in S9, but you were started off in the noise there. Got your answer for the second question. So a question mark for the first one because you didn't hear it, and it had to do with who was not a licensed amateur. And I had four names here for you: John Denver, Priscilla Presley, Walter Cronkite, or Marlon Brando. Which one of those was not a licensed amateur? Or if you think all of them were, it would be answer echo. All right, let's go ahead and move. And you want to take a stab at the first question there, Larry? Over.
Yeah, I heard you that time. Just put me down for the easy one. Put me down for E echo. All the above.
All right, mighty fine. Got you for Echo and Bravo, EB. All right, let's see. We've got Dominic as a guest. And let's go ahead and get you there, Dominic, up in, I think you're in Nevada someplace. You're normally from New Mexico. KI5WTR, what's going on, Dominic? You're up for the net, W50G. And you want to take a stab on the first woman to be a licensed radio amateur there, Dominic? Did you hear the second question, Dominic? Okay. All right. No worries there, Dominic. We're glad to have you join us for sure from your your camping trip. You're sounding great here. You're putting out a great signal here. And we're glad to have you aboard the Air Force's Flyers Club Net this morning. All right, let's move along to our net logger, Lee, N5BE. How's the eyes doing this morning? And Lee, you're up, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG, N5BE. I was shutting the SCRs off here. Good morning, Dale. Good morning to everybody. Yeah, I'm kind of in between right now. I'm getting my left eye done next Tuesday, and my right eye is almost dialed in already. So I'm sitting here wearing glasses for my left eye. I'm not trying to look through my right eye because it's goofy with the glasses anyway. We'll get there. Boy, on this question, when you're a net locker and you're way at the top, you don't have time to go look anything up. But I'm going with Larry. Larry's pretty darn sharp, and I find him to be pretty reliable. So, and he was strong on me. So I'm going to go Echo Bravo as well. I'll be easy in it today, Dale. And thanks for doing that today. And it's good to be clear. I never thought I'd say that. W5OG N5BE.
Okay, finally, you got your answers there. It's Echo Bravo. Let's move along to James, KG5PTE. James, have you heard anything from Cliff? Has he finished with his operation there? Do you know? Go ahead, W5OG.
W5OG, KG5PT. No, I have not heard from Cliff, but I took a snapshot of the today on Charlie's live stream and sent it to him, and I sent it to several other people. Wow, I cannot believe you asked a question that is almost 95% of a question that we used on our UHF net about a month ago. Almost all of these people, Walter Cronkite, Priscilla Presley, and Marlon Brando, were in a question almost very similar to the question you're asking right now. So, absolutely, I'm going to go with the answer Echo. And for the second one, I'm stumped. I'm going to follow Larry's lead and go Bravo. But you almost identically asked the question today of one we asked about a month ago on our Five Hills net. In fact, Ernesto, KJ5HYS, asked almost this very same identical question to our net. So crystal ball must be at work. So good question, Dale. So I took a screenshot of that one, and I sent it to some people. I said, hey, look at this. Dale's asking the same question we asked about a month ago. Good job, Dale. Anyway, Echo is what I'm going to go with, and Bravo. So when I hear from Cliff, I'll pass it on, and hopefully everything goes good for him. And Leon, good. I'm glad you had the cataract surgery done, and as well as Bob, K1BOB, our commander. I had mine done a couple of years ago, and it's the best thing you can have done for your eyes. So back to net, and thanks for running it, Dale. W5OG, KG5PT.
Okay, very fine there, James. That's probably where I got the idea. I don't know. I think I remember you talking about it. I know that we've had the question before, as far as the part of it at least, not the women in the first licensed amateur. But we'll have some things to talk about there with both of these groups there when we finish up the first time through the net here. And we're all anticipating that it'll go well with Cliff this morning. Certainly hope so. And it's kind of a rinky-dink question, and on the big scheme of things, it's not much. But I've been thinking about it for a while, and I thought, well, I'll just run it out. Didn't have anything else for today. That was shorter questions. And but I did do some research on the first woman to be a licensed amateur, and that's very, very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things that you find on the internet about people and the things that go, largely go unnoticed, and it's probably appropriate that we talk about it sometime. All right, let's go to Carl. KF7GJO. Good morning, Carl. You're up. W50G.
Well, thank you, Dale. Good morning, everybody. KF7GJO here. Coming to you from the hot and temperate, albeit dry, northwest Nevada. And temperature, we're getting up into the low 90s already, which is a little premature for June. It usually starts hitting us toward the end of the month. It's typical of Nevada. You don't like the weather, walk across the street, it's going to be different. Well, I've been doing a lot of work here lately. The XYL and I have decided to sell the motorhome. We're just getting up to that point where we aren't using it, and it bothers her ankles and knees and hips to climb the stairs to get in and out of the thing. So I've just got one thing left to do, and then I can hang the for sale sign on it. That's to recharge the port to the air conditioning system. Anybody looking for a very good, well-maintained 32-foot Allegro motorhome, this is what they call the FRED, which stands for front engine diesel, built on a Freightliner chassis. So this thing will easy outlive me. But it's been a fantastic coach to date. Really enjoyed it. Got about 41,000 miles on it, and played the race car for the last few years that I was racing with it, and boy, it doesn't even know it's got a 5,000-pound trailer behind it with that Cummins turbo diesel. Anyway, that's why I haven't been on for the last couple of days. Been working on that in the morning. Cool. Oh, interesting question. Now, I knew about Curtis. He was a plank holder with the Flyers Club, and I know for certain about Goldwater, but it doesn't surprise me. He was into a lot of stuff. And as for the others on the list, I must have had my head up and locked when a similar question came up in the past, because I sure don't remember it. That's Fred from John Denver, Priscilla Presley, Walter Cronkite, and Walt Brando. One guy who's a ham, I don't know how active he is, and his name slips me right now, but he's a guitarist, or was a guitarist with the Eagles, Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh is a ham. Anyway, since I'm not a cheater and I didn't research these on the internet to sound like I was intelligent and knew the answers, I'm just going to have to go with the lemmings here and pick E, all of the above for the first part, and bravo for the second part. Good question, Dale. Good net this morning. I'll be with you to the end. Good back to you, buddy. W50G Dales Net.
All right, Sparky, mighty fine. Yeah, we may be following you along that road to selling your motorhome. It's gonna, we're about ready to close that chapter of our lives, I think, and move along as well. It is a bit of a problem, those steps, and they say, well, why don't you go ahead and get some kind of an arrangement, a lift or whatever. And I guess you could probably do that, but you have to question whether it's maybe they're trying to tell you something. Maybe it's time to do something else. And I think that's about where we are. I'm trying to get mine all spivvied up and perhaps put it on the market this fall. And very similar. It's a diesel pusher, but and it's with about the same mileage. Anyway, mighty fine, Carl, and you got your answer there and all the good comments. And yeah, we'll be talking about some of these things that perhaps we had not thought of for a while. And that was my objective this morning. All right, let's move along. We'll go to Bob, K2SJP. Good morning, Bob. Operating remote from your holiday location. How many people can say that they go to their other home and it's in a place called Holiday? Over to you, Bob. W5OG.
W5OG. We will be doing that remotely. Wow. I see everything is very good. I play with what? Appreciate it. Well, good morning to you and good morning to all the flowers. And we got a nice day over here tonight, 86 degrees. Bright, sunny skies. Not too humid, but starting to feel it. Not too bad. We've been out very early this morning. We had to transfer our car that was used in a conversion center over to another center to get a CD output. So I still have my Enterprise rental car, and I think now I'm going to that's different. I am going to have to start from everybody else, like I did the other day. I'm cancer because I deferred the other day. I was again, it's wrong. That's the first thing correct. But I'm pretty sure of myself. I know most of the famous people that are on it. I don't remember John Denver saying the name. I really don't appreciate it. As I should say, it's also a Bible. 7 years ago. So I'm going to go with Alpha Bravo. My answer is Alpha. Thanks for letting me that. W5OG.
Okay, mighty fine, Bob. Got your answer there is Alpha Bravo. And we'll see how that comes out. And let's go to Bill, W2WLD. Good morning, Bill. Good signal this morning, W5OG.
Yeah, finally, some decent propagation. Good morning, Dale. Good morning, all. Copying everybody very well today. Sunny day here. We may hit 90. Maybe not, but we might. I picked up my 52 MTTD from a service center a couple days ago and drove it home about 12 miles or so, and boy, it was nice. Top down, and the guy that had it did a great job on the brake system, so we're ready for the driving season up here. The question, where is Arthur Godfrey? My gosh, or am I the only guy that remembers who the heck he was? He was also a very famous radio personality and an amateur radio operator. I, like Bob, don't remember Bob Denver ever being mentioned as a radio operator. So, and Bob also sounded pretty sure of himself. So I'm going to go with Alpha on that, and then the bonus, I have no clue. So I'm going to be a lemming and go with Bravo. So Alpha Bravo, please, Dale. W5OG, W2WLD.
All right, Bill, mighty fine. Alpha Bravo. Yeah, we're all very I think we're not envious necessarily, but we do admire the fact that you're an MG fan, and those are great old sports cars that were in a class of their own, really. Probably the classic original Roadster, and I always admire whenever I see one, and that probably includes most of the actual roadsters like the Porsche or the BMWs. I enjoy looking at those cars also, and I got a chance to drive them occasionally. And every time I've ever driven one, I said, "Man, I'd like to have one of these." So, all right, let's move along to my younger brother there, Brian. And he is much younger and much better looking and way smarter than I am. WB5DRI, good morning, Brian. You're up, W5OG.
Yeah, W50G and the net. This is WB5DRI down here in San Antonio. Good morning, Dale, and good morning to Carol in there. Love to you guys, and good morning to all the flyers and to the net. I don't know about me being better looking, but I am definitely the younger brother here. Anyway, good to be on the net here this morning, Dale. Not too bad of conditions, but anyway, we'll take it. The weather is partly sunny down here in San Antonio. I think we're about 83, and I think our low is in the mid-70s, and we're going up to about 95 today for the high. I did want to thank Lee for taking my net on Saturday. I'm going to be helping out with the San Antonio Radio Club here, and Radio Club, the Sark here in San Antonio tomorrow, and the next day, Friday and Saturday, we have our Radio Fiesta here in San Antonio. So I'll be working with them, and so I thank you, Lee, for taking my net, and I'll be taking Lee's net on Sunday. Anyway, on your question there, Dale, interesting question. I agree. Arthur Godfrey, and I think we forgot about Barry Goldwater was another famous ham, and along with General LeMay, so a lot of famous, interesting people were radio operators. I think
please go test somewhere else.
Echo.
Progress on this frequency.
I'm going to go with Echo for the first question, and Bravo for the second question there. I think I'll follow the lemmings on the second question. But I think all of those folks were, I think we've talked about some of those in the past a long time ago, but I think I remember all those as being hams, so I'm going to go with Echo on the first one and Bravo on the second. Anyway, thanks for getting me in there this morning, Dale, and I hope everybody is having a good day, and I hope all goes well for Cliff there. We look forward to hearing him back on here with us. So I'll turn it back to you, Dale. W5OG, WV5DRI, back to net. Good morning, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I heard was there someone wanting to check into the net? Were you wanting to check in, call now, W5OG? I guess not. All right, well, let's move along. Got your answer as Echo Bravo. Let's go to Bob, K1BLB. Good morning again, Bob. You're up, W5OG.
W5OG in the net, K1BLB. Good morning, everybody. And Charlie, thanks for doing the live stream there on YouTube so I could read the question. Very good. And I got to put it up to a half a screen so I can read that small text. It's on a big monitor, but it's just not enough. It shares it with other things. Anyway, and thank you very much, Lee. Mr. Bright Eyes now. When you get the second eye done, yeah, you'll like it even better. And the colors are remarkably more vivid, and everything's in focus just about for whatever your eyes were doing before that. I know my long distance all came back just fine. The only thing I use is read 1.25 power readers for really close-up stuff. That's all I ever have. and I had some sunglasses made for that for my car, and they work great. So very good. You can drive at night now. You don't get all that glare and stuff, and you're not afraid to drive at night anymore. Anyway, enough said about that. Yeah, I've just like James, I've used this question before. They're very, very similar. I remember talking about Yuri Gagarin, and I remember Chet Atkins, Arthur Godfrey. I think Bob mentioned that. Donnie Osmond, too, was a ham radio operator, and the King of Jordan. So there's been some big shots out there. I remember Walter Cronkite very well. He was kind of started his telecast career in New England there, and had a sailboat near where my parents lived. And let's see. So the answer to the question, I'm going to go with all the above are correct. So put me down for an E. I'm not going to fight the lemming line here on that one. I think it's correct, too. The second one wasn't too sure about. That's something doesn't get talked about. There were some women that started early on in electronics, I know, that there was more than one that were commercial radio. They must have had their commercial radio, or they were very high up on the scale of technology where they could design radios, actually, for commercial stuff. But I'm going to go with the crowd on that one. I'm not sure. So put me down for Echo Bravo, Dale. And let's see. Oh, I got a young man down the road here. We've known since he was a baby. And he's a young man now, and he went out and got a commercial ticket to fly drones. He has a drone commercial pilot ticket there. I don't know how hard that is to get, but and then I heard on my radio net last night on the Aries net in Boise County here, Idaho, and somebody mentioned our sheriff's department was looking for somebody to do that, probably volunteer only, to help out looking for lost souls up there in the woods, and they can't get a good telephone signal on them, and they don't know where they're at half the time. So I'm going to link him up to our sheriff and have him go see the sheriff there. I work very part-time up there. I'm a volunteer, run radios and other things. Anyway, this is K1BOB. Put me down for an Echo Bravo electric boat. My dad worked at the Electric Boat Submarine Division in Weymouth, New York. K1BOB. Back to you, Dale. Thanks for running the net. Great job.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. And yeah, electric boats. Mighty fine. Well, anyway, we'll talk about all those things some more here at the end. But yeah, I know we've used this question before, and I thought it was time to resurrect it, and perhaps, and it's accomplishing the objective. It's generating some good discussion already. Let's go to Ray, WB2JJO. Good morning, Ray. You're up, W50G.
New York, W2LD. Good morning to you, Bill. I can hear you on the radio when you have your chance. And Bob, K1BOB, you're 5x6 here, 5x6 here. On the electric radio, that is. Can't hear you too well on the SDR, but boy, I'll tell you what, you're doing a good job on the electric radio. Dale, this is a fantastic question. I've never heard it before. So my answers are going to be Alpha and Alpha and Bravo. Alpha and Bravo. I know it's not Denver with the pilot, and
All righty, fine. Ray, yeah, relatively good signal. I'm hearing you Q5 at least. Both, if I dig it out on my radio, but you're coming in good on the Utah SDR. So that's always comforting. All right, got your good comments there, and we're glad to have you here with us this morning. Now let's move along, go to Charlie, K4YDB. Thank you again, Charlie, for the live stream. You're up, W5OG. Okay, Charlie, mighty fine. Echo Bravo it is for you. And you do a great job, and we always enjoy looking at your fine station there on the live stream. Let's go to Joe, W5ABI, Las Cruces. How are things, Joe? You're up, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG and the Flyers for W5ABI. Yeah, good morning, Dale. Good morning to all the Flyers. Thanks for running the net. Good signal, yeah, it's fun here. Good conditions on the band here today. You know, talking about hams, I looked up on my QSL cards. I got them mounted in those plastics, and I have to get it out. But I've got Barry Goldwater's card here, K7UGA. I talked to him long ago. I have to pull it out and see what band and when, and he signed it across the front, Barry, with a magic marker, small magic marker pen. So that was very, so that was kind of neat. Anyhow, Lee, on cataract surgery, I had it done about 15 years ago. What a difference. You won't see those black and white movies with a tan tinge to them. At least that's what I had before I proved that. I held, when I had the first eye done, I held it over with my hand and looked at a black and white movie, and it was tan looking. So anyhow, that all straightened up when I got the second eye done. So that's a good deal. It's worth it. Anyhow, that's about all I have here. My answer to the question, you know, I don't think John Denver was a hit. I'm going to go against the grain here in the crowd. But I'm going to go with Alfred and Bravo. So we'll see what happens. And we'll be hearing about them. W5OG, W5ABI.
Okay, Joe, mighty fine. Yeah, I've never had cataract surgery. I know Brian has had his cataracts removed. I do have some slight, a little bit of a cataract in both eyes, but my doctor says they'll never, in my lifetime, they'll probably never need to be removed. They're growing that slowly. Of course, we watch it every year, and when I go back from my eye exam, I've been very fortunate, I guess, to have good vision, and it continues to do that today. I do use contacts, slight correction in both eyes, different ones. I have my dominant eye, which is the right eye, is corrected for distance. You know, a long time ago, well, when I got 50 years old or 55, whatever it was, when when you start to the point where the the lens does not move for you properly, and you can't focus up close. So the doctor said, I can also improve your distance vision, and you got a good 20/20 right now, but if you want 20/15 or 20, even your eyes would be good for 20/10. And he did that. And if you agree to that, your eyes soon depend on that. A little bit of a correction for distance vision. But it means that with one eye on distance and the other one for close-in things, it's like retaining your vision throughout your lifetime. I do have to pop a daily wear contact in on each eye each day, and that takes care of it for me. No glasses. And perfect vision, so that's the best thing, and including, I don't have to carry around readers because I can right down to the nit. I can see with my left eye, and I can see the golf ball as far as I can hit it with no problem with the right eye only, and so I'm very happy with my vision. And knock on wood, and thanks the Lord. All right, let's go to Bob, NX6RG. Bob. I guess we've covered a couple of different subjects today. You're up, Bob, W50G.
W50G, this is NX6RG. Good morning, Dale. Good morning to all the flyers. Yeah, covered a couple subjects. I don't know if I should talk about eyeballs or the question. I think when I got my lens in the left eye, I was astounded at how bright it was, and the color spectrum shifted a little bit too. I guess as our eyes age, we tend to filter out more of the high frequency stuff, and so it tends to be more subdued in the blue range. But anyway, that's been kind of an interest to me. One of these days I'll get the other eye done, but right now it's working okay, so I'm going to leave well enough alone. That's an interesting question that you posed. Somebody already mentioned Arthur Godfrey. I think we all knew him. I also remember Roy Neal from NBC News, K6DUE. He spoke at one of the hamventions long ago that I attended when I was a lot younger. And I was trying to remember some other ones, but, the person on that list that I'm not sure about is John Denver. I just don't remember him as being a ham. I mean, maybe he was. I got a kind of a funny story about John Denver. When I was a young instructor pilot in the T-38, after about 2 years, I got a job on wing staff. In addition to being an instructor, I also developed audio-visual programs. And my boss in that was telling us one day that he was good friends with John Denver, and so we said, "Oh, sure, right, Dave. Yeah, we really believe you." And he says, "No," he says, "I really am." And he called him up on the phone, and sure enough, he really did know him. Apparently, when Dave was in college, he had been going to Georgetown University. He was a bouncer at one of the bars, and John Denver wasn't known, very well at that time, and he was a performer there, and he got to know him in that connection. I just don't remember John Denver as a ham, though. Maybe he was, but I'm going to go with Alpha and Bravo. I don't really know answer two, but I'm just going to go with the lemmings on that and assume it's Bravo. So put me down for Alpha Bravo. And back to you, Dale. W50G, NX6RG.
All right, Bob. Yeah, good comments. My goodness. And was it John Denver that was the ham, or was it his dad who was a pilot in the Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel? What was his name? Dusseldorf or something like that. It was John Denver's real name. Anyway, we'll talk about it here just shortly, but all good comments and very interesting. All right, let's go to Mike, KQ6E. Good morning, Mike. How are things in Anthem, W50G?
W50G, and it is KQ6E. Yeah, another wonderful day in paradise. Can't complain. We're going to go up to 94 today. It's 82 right now. And then at the end of the week, we hit the hundreds, and we'll be there probably now until mid-September. So you're hunkering down for the summer. So what can I say? Other than that, it's pretty decent. It's nice sunny weather, so can't complain. On the question, interesting stuff. Way back when in the 70s when I got my extra pad, I happened to be photographing Paul Tibbets, the famous A-bomb over Hiroshima pilot, and he was in my studio. We spent, close to an hour. It turns out he was a ham, and I had just passed my extra, and we had a very nice chat about ham radio, and he was active as far as I remember, and I think he stayed active after that. But very, very interesting conversation we had, just talking about the tests and all that good stuff. But I do remember that very well. On the question, I don't think John Denver he was a ham. I think the others were, but I don't recall Denver being a ham. I know he flew the Long Easy, which my brother flew, and I think he bought the farm in Monterey Bay, but I don't think he was a ham. So I'm going to go with Alpha, and I'm going to jump in with the Lemmings here in States on the second one. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, good to hear everybody this morning. Talking to most everyone. My antenna's doing a little weird stuff, so I don't know what the heck's going on, but we'll play with it some more. So W50G in the group, KQ6E.
All righty, fine business, Mike, and very interesting on your connection there with the gentleman that you were mentioning. We've all had, I guess, experiences similar to that down through the years, and it makes for great memories. All right, let's move along to Art. Art, how are things in New River? I hope I can hear you this morning. WX7 Lima Lima, go ahead. You're up, W50G.
Beautiful New River.
Okay, Art, you're going to go with the fact that John Denver you don't think was a licensed ham, although he was definitely a pilot. All right, mighty fine, Art. Good to hear from you this morning, and I hope you're doing well there in New River. Let's see if Jack is on the HF this morning. Jack, KM4CAX, are you there this morning? You're up for the net, W50G. He's listening sometimes on the SDR and doesn't come on. So we're glad to have you listening. Anyway, Jack, hope things are well with you in Andorra. Best regards from everyone. I will take one additional standby in case you're just a little bit slow there in responding. But are you there this morning, Jack? Are you able to transmit KM4CAX? Go ahead, W50G. No, I guess not. Anyway, all the best to you in Andorra there, Jack. Let's go to Chris. It looks like he's in the mobile this morning. KS5KY. What's going on, Chris? You're up, W50G. Okay, fine. Fine business there. And Chris, you have a good signal from the mobile. That's great. And we're glad to have you able to come out and join us. That worked out well there, for sure. All right, that's the bottom of the list. Let's see. I have to say good morning to Mike again, KJ5IAI, and Norm, N9KJN, and also John, WE6LJS, who are also listening. So maybe you guys can come join us over on Echolink once we wrap up the net. Well, let's see. Let's get to the question of the day then. I don't think I missed anybody. Let me just take a quick standby. Did I miss anybody on the initial trip through the list? Call now, W50G. Okay, don't hear anyone. Let's go to the question. And we all know about General Curtis LeMay and also Senator Barry Goldwater, who were both active and licensed radio amateurs and very historical figures. And so who of those, and Bob mentioned several others, and it was also mentioned about Joe Walsh, who was a good friend of Bob Hiles, by the way. I met Joe Walsh one day, I remember with the Eagles there when I was at a ham fest, and I don't, for the life of me, remember where that was. I think it was at Hamcom in Dallas, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, it may have been. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at Dayton. I know that. Someplace else. Anyway, let's see. It doesn't matter because he was a ham and was active and also famous as a member of the Eagles there. And let's see. As far as the question, though, I have it on good authority that John Denver was a. It says that there. I just Googled it again. I saw it yesterday, and he definitely was a licensed amateur. And now it says that there's. It says, well, John Denver was a passionate aviator and musician. No readily available public information to confirm whether he was a licensed amateur radio operator. So I guess I have to give folks. I was thinking that he definitely was an active, in fact, amateur radio operator, and very interesting that there's a controversy about that. So I have to give folks full credit for Alpha Bravo or for EB because I was thinking that he was. I still think that he was, but I don't know what period of his varied life and career he was active as a ham. I think that he was, but I'm not positive now because there's differing information available on the website or on the internet about that. And perhaps, Bob, you'd have some more information about that. You did pick Echo, all of the above, so we'll defer to you here shortly on the 73 round. And so anyway, all the others, of course, were, and we've talked about many of them before. It's interesting to note that Marlon Brando was licensed in French Polynesia and operated from Tahiti there. Very interesting about that, I thought. All right, let me see. Oh, the second question. Yeah, it was the original and most correct answer was Gladys Kathleen Parkin, and she was 15 years old when she managed to do all that. She was born right at 1900, and at the start of the First World War, these ladies were called, several of them. All of those names that were listed were active radio telegraph operators. And they did much to support the Navy in the First World War. And when radio was brand new and was being implemented throughout the oceans there by the ships primarily, big users of that technology at the time. And it was amazing to me to find out. And if you need to just kind of Google that and do some research on it, because many women who you don't know anything about did a lot in terms of the start to our avocation here, our hobby, and also supporting the national war effort and leading up to World War I and in World War I. Well, that's the question. The answer was, in fact, Echo and Bravo was correct, but I'll give full credit to answer Alpha as well. And also, if you picked A, that Redfern was, many say that G suggests that G was the first radio amateur. So there's differing opinion there also. So you get full credit on either A or B for the second answer. All right, let's see. That's the going through the first list. Let me just take a quick standby for any additional check-ins, and then we'll start the 73 round right quick. Any other check-ins? W50G, call now. Okay, hearing none on either the radio or the SCR. Let's go ahead and start through the list here. Let's see if Justin is still with us. KB7LAK in the Mobile. Are you there, Justin? You're up for the 73 round, W50G.
Yeah, I sure am. Yeah, I wasn't sure if John Denver was I know he was an avid pilot. I know he's a great musician, folk musician, but I don't know if he was AM in any way. I'm here in Wyoming, picking up some illegal fireworks. Yeah, I'm admitting to committing a crime on ham radio. My daughter's getting married tomorrow night, and we're going to have her run through, I don't know why, run through a bunch of fireworks. That's why I'm Michael Jackson didn't have it so good. So anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for calling the net. You're coming in great up here. I'm up on top of the hill here at Evanston. So 73 is all I'll be listening on my way home. 87 LAK Mobile.
Okay. Yeah, one of those fireworks there, and fine, Justin. Yeah, you're almost S9 with me. Very good signal from the Mobile there in Evanston, Wyoming. All right, let's go to Larry, the other big signal from Mobile. KB0LTT, you're up, Larry, W50G.
Well, Dale, I hope I'm not double with you. The man took a major shift. I was hearing you really good about a half hour or so ago, and Dale, I can barely hear you. If I was giving you our signal report based on the RST minus the key, I would give you about a 2 by 2, a 2 by 2, maybe a 2 by 3. So band's really shifted. But I'll catch you guys on Echo Link. I've got a little bit of time and should be in a good area for Echo Link. W50G, KB0LTT, Norfolk, Nebraska.
Norfolk, Nebraska. Fine. I hear you well on the Utah SCR there, Larry, so I think everybody else heard you as well. So we're glad to have you join us as always, and do drive carefully today. All right, let's go to Dominic, KI5WTR, if you're still up there in the White Mountains of Nevada. You're up, I'm sorry, Arizona, that would be. I get my western states confused, I guess. Anyway, in Arizona there, Dominic, you're up, W50G. Yeah, I don't hear Dominic. He was coming in good before. So he's probably moved along. 7-3 to you, Dominic. N5BE, Lee, you're up. 7-3, W50G.
W50G, N5BE. Well, Dale, good net today. I enjoyed the question. Certainly a lot of discussion there. And, it makes me wish I was a ham earlier in my life rather than an old geezer hobby. So anyway, I would have loved to talk to some of those guys. All right, Dale, thank you, and it's good to be back on the saddle again. Until next week when I go back under the knife. W50G N5B 73.
Okay, Lee. Mighty fine. Good luck with that coming up second surgery there for your cataract removal. And you'll get that behind you and have excellent vision again. All right, let's go to James, KG5PTE. You're up, James, 7-3, W50G.
W50G, KG5PT. Well, good question, Dale. And that answered out about right. The way you put it up there on the AIM window, the remarks under there, EAB, that's kind of how I saw it too. So I'll catch you on Echo Link. Thanks for running the net. 73 is KG5PT.
All right, James. Carl, KF7GJO, do you remember if, you picked Echo, do you remember if John Denver was actually active AM there, Carl? W50G.
Oh boy, Dale, I don't know, because that was before I got into the hobby in 2009. What he did himself in the surf there at Monterey in 2006 or 2007, I believe. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty much before my time, so I don't really remember. But yeah, interesting question. I enjoy having questions like this more so than the gotcha questions. Because they're intended for fun, and I have fun with these. So, hey, everybody, 73s, have a splendid day, and we'll try this again tomorrow. W50G, KF7, Dales, 73, Dale.
All right, 7-3, Carl. And I just swiveled around and looked at the page where when I was doing this yesterday and doing some research on it, and it says, yes, that very definitely, that John Denver was licensed at the age of 12 and was an avid amateur radio operator. So I guess Echo would be certainly the most correct answer. All right, let's go to Bob, K2SJP. Bob, and that was according to some AI, I guess that artificial intelligence part of Google. So maybe they have a better angle. I don't know. K2SJP, what do you think, Bob? 7-3 round, W50G.
Well, you guys do all hand ID operators. I'm up around. John Denver, Kilo, Delta, 0, Bravo, Sierra. I was wrong. I really never heard that before. I got it forward. We do a whole lot of people that are very famous. That are or was up there. Listen to these names. Some of them may surprise you. Andrew Devine, W. Reynolds, Sagonsi, Roger, King Hossein, Princess Siwan, Roy Mia, Ian Shepard, Pearl I, Patty Lovely, Chet Hudson, Tim Allen, Ronnie Nissa, Joe Wall, Jim Chris, Art Winklever, Johnny Osmond, Lee Dan, Howard Hughes, Albert, and it's W.com. Some of those names we know, and they all listed as hands or what. It's nice to you, Dale. I'm the baloney. You guys are hands. W50G.
Okay, Bob. Mighty fine. Well, we have fun with these questions, and that's what's important, I guess. All right, let's move along. Bill, W2WLD, you got John, I guess you didn't know about John Denver either. You're up, Bill, W50G.
Well, Dale, and I was going to ask you to produce the call sign, but I guess Bob did. So I'm going to have to look that up. Great job and enjoyed it. Everyone have a great day. 73. W50G, W2WLD.
All right, Bill, 7-3 to you. Brian, WB5DRI, 7-3 round, W50G.
Okay, Dale, W50G, WB5DRI. Well, good net, Dale. Thank you. Enjoyed it. 73s. Everybody have a great day out there. And we'll talk to you on Sunday. WB5DRI, back to net. Good day, everybody.
Okay, fine, Brian. And let's see, so was E the right answer, Dale? Yes, all of the above, including John Denver, who I think we've now, even though there's a couple of references that disavowed the fact that he was an amateur, he actually was a licensed radio amateur. I think there's a preponderance of evidence to support that. So we'll go with Echo Bravo, James. All right, let's go to the commander, K1BOB. Bob, you had it right anyway, W50G.
K1BOB, W50G in the group. Very good, Dale. A fun question. And, yeah, you can't trust the Internet, that's for sure. You'll sometimes see stuff like this, two answers. I looked it up afterwards, and then I found all the ones that the other people were talking about, and I couldn't find any references I knew about John Denver. His father was an Air Force B-58 pilot, so he was at the top of his craft. John Denver's quite a very introverted child, so I think maybe ham radio went along with that in some ways. It's good for everybody. And he took up the singing at a very young age, like 12 years old. Didn't have a lot of friends, and he had to move around a bit too. So he had a weird childhood. Anyway, the long very easy he had that he crashed. That's the one he did not have a license for. He did not have a current pilot's license. He had lost it due to a couple of DUIs that never got cleared, and he was on a medical hold when he crashed that very easy. So I don't know. I think they got down to the bottom of that, not being able to turn on an auxiliary tank under the seat, which is very hard to turn around and turn on. So I think they determined that was probably the likely cause on a very hard to turn on switch to get some fuel back so he could make it back. Anyway, that's about all I know here. So I'll turn it back to you. Interesting net there, Dale, as usual. K1BOB, back to W5OG.
Okay, Bob. Yeah, thank you for that information. And yeah, I have a little bit of experience with the long easy myself. I've had a good friend here, and he got to ride a couple of times with him, and then I had a kid that worked for me, a young captain, and when I was at the office, and he had built a very easy, so and I got to fly that one, and that was much fun. It was a great airplane. So they're hand built. All right, let's move along. Go to Ray, WB2JJ073 round, Ray, W50G. Ray, mighty fine, and 7-3 to you. Let's go to Charlie, K4YDB, 7-3 round, Charlie, W5OG. Yeah, you are a youngster there, Charlie. All right, Joe, W5ABI, 7-3, Joe, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG and the file W5ABI. Good man. You know, in the meantime, I sent down in front of me. He's got a very impressive station. He's got a whole wall of equipment that shows on his car. And I talked to him in February 72. Long ago. Well, anyhow, I had to pull that car down just to let you know. And I talked to him. Anyhow, 73 to you and all the parts. W5OG.
All right, Joe, mighty fine. That time period I was in Utah, I was active. Had as I recall, what was that? It was a cubicle quad antenna, and I built my amplifier here, this Heathkit, the same one you're using, the SB220 in 72 there. Oh, my goodness, Joe. I don't know how I missed it. Probably it was too close to be able to work Barry Goldwater about that time period. Very interesting, though. I was very well aware of him because I had already finished my Vietnam tour, and I know that I had a couple of those phone patches. Well, probably more than a couple during my year in Vietnam, and I used the ham. Folks that were very active with supporting the phone patches to the guys in Vietnam. Wasn't the same as picking up a phone like you can now and talking to anybody in the world. So, wasn't the same back then, as we all know. All right, find 73 Joe, and over to you there, Bob, NX6RG, 73 W50G.
W50G, this is NX6RG. Okay, Dale, on. Mark myself at 50% on my paper today, and I'm glad to learn that John Denver was a ham. That's good. He certainly had a lot of interest, and that would fit. I just had never heard of that before. But anyway, great question this morning, and conditions kind of changing. I'm copying you solid all the time, but I'm hearing other stations differently. So conditions changing during the net. Anyway, 73s. I won't be on the air tomorrow because I've got a Zoom session, and then I've got honor guard duties tomorrow. So I'm going to be busy tomorrow morning for sure. Anyway, 73s, W50G, NX6RG.
Okay, Bob, 73 to you, and have a great day, and we'll look for you next Monday for sure. And have a good weekend. All right, Mike, KQ6E, 73, Mike, W50G. Yeah, fine. Barry Goldwater was quite a guy. He probably should have been elected president instead of that numbskull that came from Texas here, LBJ. But anyway, Goldwater might have kept us out of the stupid war in Vietnam. But who knows? I don't know. I still think that, well, we can talk about that some more later, I guess. But anyway, but Barry Goldwater, he was born 3 years before in Arizona. He's originally from Arizona and was born 3 years before Arizona became a state, which I found that very interesting. He died at 99 years old, so almost made the 100 mark there. He was quite a guy and has a very interesting bio there for sure. Now, I do remember him. He was quite a figure. All right, let's go to, in passing, Joe, hang on to that QSL card. Put that in plastic. I expect that's a worthwhile, one of those things that you never want to part with. I'm not saying it has a whole lot of monetary value, but I'm sure there's some there. But it certainly is, it's something that many of us would like to have for sure. All right, let's go to Art in New River. 7-3 round Art, WX7 Lima Lima, W50G. All right, Art. Very interesting. Yeah, 7-3 to you. Have a great day. Let's see if Chris is still there in the mobile. KS5KY, 7-3 round, Chris, if you're there. W5OG. All right, Chris. Mighty fine. Very interesting about Bob Heil there. Great guy. And I got a chance to meet him once also at a Ham Fest. All right, let's see. I think that's the end of the, well, I know it is. That's the end of the list. And I want to take a quick standby before we close the net just to see if there's any last minute comments. Any other comments before we close? Call now, W5OG.
Comment KF7 detail.
Go ahead, Carl, with a comment.
Yeah, a piece of trivia that with $2 will get you a cup of coffee at Denny's. Just looking at the roster there, I think at number 503, I'm the senior most member of the group now who is active for the most part on the radio. I'm sure there's some guys below me who are not silent keys, but yeah, interesting thought. I remember when I first joined back in 2010, and everybody kind of 503. Wow, that's I can't count that high. Interesting bit of trivia. So 73s, everybody, have a fantastic day, and you're in charge of it. So back to you, Dale. KF7G Dale.
Okay, Carl. Yeah, I didn't realize that, but that's probably about right. As far as active members, you're amongst the most senior for sure with that number. And Bill is right behind you there with number 510. So very interesting. And one of my regrets is that I didn't find this net earlier, to be honest. All right. Well, that's the bottom of the list. Any other comments? And then we'll close. W5OG. All right, this has been the Thursday edition. I do thank everybody for checking in, for participating, and all great comments, good comments. We had some good discussion about this particular subject, and it was fun. And I think it's worthwhile to look into some of those early ladies that were active as radio telegraphers primarily. But they were all hams. They were all active amateur. Everybody was, involved with amateur radio if you were pounding a key in one form or another, because that was all there was back then. Anyway, we'll close the net now and return the frequency to normal amateur use. 7-3 from W5OG. See everybody over on Echolink.